What is up, everybody? My name is Logan Stroh. Welcome to CCF Stroh Talks Football. Today is Tuesday. Sorry that I didn't upload yesterday on Monday. My mom just got out of surgery. It's only been a week, so I've been home trying to take care of her. But today I was able to make a video today, so here we are. Today's going to be a bit of a shorter, plus it's going to be a little bit of a simpler video just because, again, I want to get home to take care of my mom. But today I'm going to give you guys my tier list of every NFL stadium. I feel like this video would be good because, again, what I just explained earlier, but also, I already did a list of ranking every NFL jersey. I still got to make a couple for the Color Rush or away jerseys. I already make tons of tier lists describing teams and stuff, and we haven't done stadiums yet, so I feel like this one was long overdue, so I wanted to give you guys that tier list today. So let's not waste any more time. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on notification bells so you don't miss any of my videos whenever I post. Well, that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so here we are at the tier list. Now, let's go over these tiers real quick. At the very top, we've got best of the best. Below that, we've got great/well built. Below that, we've got okay. Below that, we've got bland. And at the bottom, we've got dumpster house. And while we're going through all these stadiums on the tier list, I'm going to show you pictures of the interior and exterior of all these stadiums so you can have a good look of your opinion, so you can come up with your own. And also, you can see for yourself and basically see where I'm coming from. Alright, so starting off with the very first stadium on this tier list, we've got Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm just going to put it in best of the best, and I'm basically going to show you the pictures of why I put it up there. Look how cool this stadium looks, dude. That is gorgeous. The exterior is honestly A+ for me. And then when you go to the interior, dude, that's really good, dude. You can't tell me that's not elite. Alright, up next we've got Arrowhead Stadium, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to lie, if it wasn't for their A+ atmosphere for the fans, I would say it's a dumpster fire, but I'm going to put it in bland. I mean, I know you shouldn't really judge a fan atmosphere when it comes to a stadium. Trust me, it'll make sense. That point can be proven later in these other stadiums, but come on, dude. If you look at this stadium, it's very bland. There's nothing to it. The exterior is kind of boring. All it is around it is just parking. There's nothing else to see scenery-wise. And then when you go to the interior, again, nothing special. There's really nothing to brag home about. But one thing I can say, and one thing that really can carry this stadium, from being towards the dumpster to somewhat of the bland, is their fan atmosphere, because that's the only reason this stadium is known. Next, we've got AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. As much as I hate the Cowboys, this is on my bucket list to go to. This is one of the coolest stadiums in the league. It's one of the most gorgeous, too. Look at that. That's just absolutely gorgeous, man. Hating on the Cowboys or not, you can't lie by saying, this stadium sucks, because you be lying. This stadium is gorgeous. That's just the exterior. Looking at the interior, that's elite too. Look at that. Their Jumbotron is elite. Their seating looks really, really nice. Overall, as much as I hate the Cowboys, man, I hate them. I've always wanted to go to the stadium. This would be a good time. Speaking of going to stadiums, I forgot to mention this in the intro. I've only gone to 3 of these stadiums in person, and those are Levi's Stadium, Raymond James Stadium, and Caesars Superdome. The rest of these I have not gone to in person yet. So for those 3 stadiums, I'm going to have a different opinion on, but that's just how it is, man. Alright, next stadium we've got is Bank of America Stadium, home of the Carolina Panthers, and I don't really remember this stadium all that much, so I'm going to go to the pictures first and then give you my rating. Looking at the exterior, it's alright. I mean, it has a really good scenery. I like all the buildings in the background, but when you look at it, it seems like it's a very hard stadium to park at. It doesn't look like it's an easy stadium to, basically park at, basically to find, unless if you're just walking or staying at a hotel. But other than that, it has really good scenery. And then when you look at the interior, it's fine. I mean, it reminds me a lot of the Chiefs Stadium, Arrowhead, just a little bit nicer. And honestly, I like that blue a little bit more than the red. So, and plus I think their screen is a lot better. Just for those reasons alone, I'll put this one in okay. I wouldn't put it in great or well built. I mean, it's decently built, but I just don't think it really sticks out. I almost forgot the name of the stadium as a whole. Up next, we've got Lumen Field. Man, this is a gorgeous stadium. Home of the Seattle Seahawks. Man, this is also one of these things I should have pointed out. I have gone to 3 NFL stadiums, but I haven't but there also are some stadiums that I have seen in person, but I haven't gone to, and this is one of them. There's another one I'm not going to name yet, but yes, this is a very gorgeous stadium. Like, look at that. The exterior, excellent. Like, it looks very nice, very well built, and then the scenery, top notch. All kinds of buildings in the background. And then when you look at the interior, dude, like, unless it's a very sunny day, it might be a pain in the ass to play on. But when you got those rainy games, like, you got overhead to protect you, or if it's a night game, like, the colors look absolutely awesome. And then any Seahawks fan or any fan that has gone to this Seahawks game here can tell you that the atmosphere is one of the best in the league. Just like with the NBA team tier list I did last week, I might go towards, after I'm done with this tier list, I probably will make some adjustments. But for now, I'm going to put this in best of the best because it kind of deserves it, dude. It's a really damn good stadium, and it will always be one of the hardest stadiums to play in. Up next, we've got Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins, and so far, I'm going to put it in okay, but honestly, this could go a little bit higher as soon as I see the pictures. Like, when you go to the interior, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's really nothing special, but it's nice. Like, it has decent overhead for some fans in the stadium, and there's not a lot of seating, which creates a bit of a problem. But at the same time, it's pretty easy to see the field. So I give it I would give it a mid for the interior. And then when you look at the exterior, that's top notch. Like, when you look at that, like, that's gorgeous. Like, I could see why people like this so much. But yet, at the same time, I feel like this stadium is very overhated. Honestly, I'm going to keep it where I have it. I'm going to have it in okay because if this had a better interior, I think it would be in well built. But I think the exterior really carries this stadium. And there's a reason why this stadium has hosted a lot of Super Bowls in the past because it is a very nice stadium. But if you say it's one of the most exciting looking stadiums in the league, I would disagree with you. Next, we've got FedEx Field or FedEx Stadium, home of the Washington Commanders, and every single football fan watching this video or has seen this stadium should absolutely agree with me. This is one of the worst stadiums in the league and one of the worst stadiums in sports. Like, it's literally a dump. Like, that's basically what it is. It's a big old dump. Like, look at the interior. I couldn't find it that said Commanders instead of football team. Like, I think it's fine. But, look at the interior. Like, other than the colors, extremely boring. Nothing to look at. And then obviously, there's tons of videos on it. When you walk around the stadium, you'll see tons of leaks, tons of stains. The seats are, very ugly to look at. And remember that video where they were playing against the Eagles and fans were leaning on the gate towards, the walkway to go to the locker room, and tons of those, fans fell off? That's just one of the reasons of why the stadium sucks. And then when you go to the exterior, it's nothing special on that part either. It's very boring to look at, and this picture here really, shows it really well too. There's nothing to look at. Hardly any scenery, just a whole bunch of parking. There's nothing special. Up next, we've got Paycor Stadium. I've always been used to it being called Paul Brown Stadium, but I guess they changed the name. Paycor Stadium, home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's look at the pictures first. To start off, the exterior, it's fine. I mean, the stadium doesn't look all that great exterior-wise. I love the city background. That's very nice to look at. But there's really nothing special about it, really. And then when you go to the interior, again, it's nice, but it's not anything special. There's really nothing to brag about. I would put it in bland, I almost should, but I'm going to put it in okay because this is the definition of a mid-stadium. There's nothing really bad about it. Up next, we've got Ford Field, home of the Detroit Lions, and people might not agree with me on this one, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ford Field. It's a nice stadium. I'll say it's, well built, but when you look at it, it's nothing really home to talk about. When you look at the interior, I mean, it's fine. It's decently nice. It finally has a voice, with the Lions finally being good, for 2 years straight, and probably more years to come. But when you look at the exterior, this is just my opinion. I don't think there's anything special about it. I think it looks very bland, and it looks like a factory. There's really nothing to look at. I mean, I guess the front is nice, where it shows, the Lions, players on the front. I think that looks pretty cool. But overall, there's really nothing cool about this. And honestly, with it being that close to the Detroit Tigers Stadium, like, it takes a lot of flair out of it. And plus, it looks like it's a hard stadium to get to, like, with parking. Okay, I just realized I made a big mistake when I was making this tier list. This is not the Bengals Stadium. This is the Browns Stadium. This is Huntington Bank Field. Uh, Paul Brown Stadium, or whatever the hell the new name is, I'm blinking right now. This is the Bengals Stadium right here. I'm going to put it in the same level as okay. I feel the same way about the Brown Stadium. They're almost similar stadiums. They're very similar. I'll be fair and give you guys a tour of like what the Brown Stadium looks like. The exterior, I honestly like it a little bit more than the Bengals Stadium. Like the exterior on here looks nice. I like the basically the water background right here. I think that looks pretty nice, but I think it's kind of a hard stadium to get to parking wise, but at the same time I could be wrong. And then when you look at the interior, I mean, it's nice. Again, it's just like the Bengals Stadium where there's really nothing to look at. But overall, it's a decent stadium, and I like the side of the stadium where it says Dog Pound. I think that's pretty cool. But overall, there's really nothing special about it. It's a very mid stadium, but overall, it's alright. Alright, I'm glad I got that straightened out. So now we can move on. Next, we've got Gillette Stadium, home of the New England Patriots, and I'm not going to lie, I think this stadium is so bland. Like, there's really nothing to look at. I think the exterior is kind of bland. I mean, this is kind of cool, but it's a really small stadium. And this is one of the biggest complaints for the stadium out of all of them, is that it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and it's, like, not even close to, like, in the main city. Like, it's a bit of a drive away. It's basically in the middle of nowhere. It's a hard stadium to find. And then, like, overall, like, it looks very bland. Like, if it wasn't for the Patriots dynasty itself, like, nobody would remember the stadium. And then when you look at the interior, I'll go right here. This is a better picture. It's as bland as it can get. Like, there's really nothing special about it at all. Up next, we've got Acrisure Stadium, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It used to be called Heinz Field. That name is so much better, but whatever. It's Acrisure Stadium now. I'm going to put this one in okay, and here's why. When you look at the exterior, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a pretty easy stadium to get into. That's very nice. But overall, there's really nothing to look at, like, exterior-wise. Like, there's really nothing special about it. And then when you get to the interior, that's where it really shines. Like, the stadium itself, it looks very nice. I love the city background with the bridges and the water, and then obviously the city buildings right there. That looks really nice. Like, I think the interior really helps the stadium shine. But overall, it's a fine stadium. Like, I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's a fine stadium, like, in itself. Next, we've got the oldest stadium on this list, the one that started them all, Lambeau Field, home of the Green Bay Packers. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very impressed with how this stadium has aged. I'm going to put it in very well built. Like, it's honestly really impressive because this stadium used to look like this back in the day. Like, it looked like basically like any other stadium, basically like a small bowl, like really nothing special about it. And then they managed to make it look like this. Like, I mean, it's not the most exciting looking thing, but like, the fact that this is the oldest stadium out of all of them and it looks like this is honestly extremely impressive. And honestly, I really like to see, I know it's really close to like a lot of homes, and I think it's pretty cool because you always get to see a whole bunch of Packers fans post on TikTok showing like how videos of like basically they're literally across the street from the Packers. I think that's really cool. But overall, the exterior looks really nice. And when you get to the interior, I mean, this one's very unique because it does look really nice for it being an old stadium. But it's also very unique because this is the only stadium in the league, because it's so old, to have benches. Like, there's no seats. Like, you have, like, when you go into the stadium, they basically give you like seats to put on the bench. That's basically what's provided. I mean, it might not be the most comfortable, but it's definitely an experience because this is one of the most unique stadiums in the league. Most people might not agree with that placement, but I think Lambeau Field is one of the better stadiums in the league. Next, we've got Levi's Stadium, home of the San Francisco 49ers, and this is the first stadium on the list that I have been to in person. A couple times, actually. I've been to the stadium twice. And honestly, like, to be completely honest, I think this stadium gets way too much shit. But at the same time, I think the atmosphere completely carries the stadium's ranking. But whatever. I'm going to put it in great. Again, I might make some adjustments at the end of this video. This one could go down, but for now I'm going to put it in great / well built. I mean, when you go to the exterior, I think it looks really clean. Like, when you look at that, it's very nicely built. Like, there's a lot of parking, and honestly, like, if you've gone to a Niners game, you should probably agree with me saying, like, they have one of the best tailgating in the league. Like, their tailgates are awesome. Like, they're a lot of fun, and it's just a whole bunch of passionate Niners fans. Like, look at that picture right there. Like, that's the best picture you can get right there. I think that looks really clean. Then when you get to the interior, I think it looks pretty decent. I mean, it's not the most impressive thing ever, but it's a nice stadium. I think this one gets way too much crap, and I think it's a very nice stadium overall. Next, we've got Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles. One of my biggest bucket list items to do, basically, is go to every single NFL stadium in the world just so I can get a good idea of how every stadium feels. But this is the one I'm probably going to avoid for the longest because Eagles fans are the craziest sons of bitches in the world, dude. But overall, I think the stadium's decent, but let's just go over the pictures. I mean, when you go to the exterior, I think that looks pretty decent. Like, I think overall it looks nice. But when you look at the interior, you would think it would be more of an impressive look. But, like, there's really nothing special about it. Like, I'm kind of disappointed with the interior because you would think of how crazy an atmosphere this team and, like, basically this whole city is. You would expect something crazier, but honestly, like, the interior is really nothing special, but I could just say, just from watching these games on TV, the atmosphere is probably top-notch, and if you're not an Eagles fan, you are basically not welcome. Like, that's how those fans have been for years. Like, they are the meanest sons of bitches, but they are passionate about that team. Next, we've got Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts. This is one of the nicest stadiums in the league. Like, it's really well built. I'll show you the interior first. I think the interior looks really nice. Like, I really like the colors. I think the seating looks really nice. And I love how they have an open roof. Like, so basically, like, it can get the sun in when it's a sunny day. Or if it's rainy, or if it's dark, they can have it closed. Like, I think that itself is really nice. And then when you look at the exterior, I think that's what I really like the most. Like, it basically looks like a big-ass barn. Like, that's basically what it looks like. But I want to say that's the look that they were trying to get because it's basically the Colts. Like, that's the theme. And I think it looks really nice, and I think it fits really well. Like, it's such a nice stadium. Up next, we've got Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Atlanta Falcons. This is one of the most gorgeous stadiums in the league. It's honestly impressive how nice this stadium is. Like, come on. When you look at this, you can't tell me this is not elite. Like, this is an open roof. Like, that's how impressive this is. Like, it's an open roof, and the way it turns is honestly incredible. Like, it's really nice. And then when you look at the interior, that's where it really shines as well. Look at that big-ass screen you can see. It's basically like SoFi, but, like, basically higher up. It's so nice, dude. And then when you look at that, like, the windows right there, it reminds me a lot of Lucas Oil Stadium, but that's, like, what's so nice about it. Like, this is another great look, too. Like, just with how nice it looks, just basically, like, the windows showing. Like, this is one of the nicest stadiums in the league, and this is definitely on my bucket list to go to, even as a Saints fan. Next, we've got MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Giants and the New York Jets. I'm not going to lie, this is one of the worst stadiums in the league as well. This is a dumpster house. Alright, to start off, let's look at the interior. I'm going to show both perspectives so I don't get in trouble. So, first of all, that's the Giants. I mean, the blue looks decent, but when you look at the interior, there's nothing special about it at all. You're basically in a big bowl. There's nothing to look at, and it's really boring. Basically, this is just blank. Where's the Jets at? Where's the Jets? I mean, I guess that's a good perspective right here, where it shows Giants and Jets. Yeah, basically a big bowl. Like, it's higher up, so it's easier to tell. Like, there's nothing special at all. Like, really nothing to look at. And then when you look at the exterior, God, why are these pictures so fucking zoomed out? Yeah, like, there's nothing special about it at all. It's just a big bowl, just basically surrounded by parking, no city background at all. Like, it's nothing special. Like, I mean, there's a lot of city background, like, from the far distance. But when you're in the stadium, you're not going to see it at all. Like, it's terrible. And also, one very important thing to point out with this stadium is their field, like, their actual field, is probably the worst in the league. Like, they have turf, and it's one of the worst turf fields in the league. A whole bunch of history with a lot of bad injuries. from this stadium and its field. Like, it's terrible. It's one of the worst stadiums in the league. Up next, we've got Empire Field at Mile High. Honestly, I really like that name. But overall, I think the Broncos Stadium's decent. Like, it's basically kind of bland. Like, it's one of the mid stadiums, but it's not bad. Like, when you look at the exterior, that's pretty impressive, especially when you look at the Broncos logo, like, on the top of the seating right there. I think that looks really nice, but really nothing, like, crazy about it. Like, there's nothing really special about it. But when you look at the interior, I think that looks nicer. I think, like, when it comes to, like, the stadiums where there's really nothing, like, really to look at, like scenery, I think it's one of the nicer stadiums, and honestly, I think it's a decent stadium. I can't put it higher than okay, but it's not bad. Up next, we've got MAT Bank Stadium, home of the Ravens. I'm not gonna lie, this one's kind of bland, and Ravens fans might attack me for this, but I'm not really impressed with this stadium. Like, when you look at the exterior, I think it's okay. Like, there's really nothing special about it. Like, it's very bland. Like, there's really nothing to look at. And then when you look at the interior, I think the interior is really boring. Like, they could have done so much more, but instead, it just looks like you're, like, basically generic stadium. I do know the atmosphere is very strong there, obviously, because Ravens fans are very passionate about their team. But honestly, like, there's really nothing there. Like, there's nothing to look at. Like, it's very boring. Up next, we've got Nissan Stadium, home of the Tennessee Titans. Again, it's very decent. It's not a bad stadium, but at the same time, it's not anything remarkable. I mean, when you look at the exterior, that's really nice. I think the scenery is beautiful. Like, that's really nice. But when you look at the interior, like, okay. I mean, I like the backgrounds, okay, but at the same time, like, really nothing special. It does remind me of Raymond James Stadium of the Bucks, and that's a good sign because I have been to that stadium, and I think that stadium is gorgeous. But overall, there's really no, like, big features about it. Like, there's not really anything special. Next, we've got NRG Stadium, home of the Houston Texans. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a really nice stadium, but, like, I hope people agree with me on this one, but I just have a little bit of a feeling that it tried to copy a lot of what Lucas Oil Stadium did, and at some parts it achieved, and some parts it really didn't. I mean, when you look at the exterior, I think that looks really nice, and it's one of the nicer exteriors in the league. When you look in the interior, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's really nothing special, but it's not anything bad either. Like, it's a decent stadium on its own, but I just think it really tried to copy Lucas Oil Stadium. Up next, we've got Highmark Stadium, home of the Buffalo Bills. I really hope Bills fans don't take this too much to the heart, but this stadium's a dump, dude. Like, there's really nothing cool about it, and it's one of the ugliest stadiums in the league. Like, look at you guys' exterior, man. Like, it's awful. Like, there's nothing special about it. It's really boring, and, like, there's not a lot of seating at all, especially with how popular of a team this is. And then when you look at the interior, oh, I'm sorry, that's for the new stadium they're about to get. But that leads me into my next point. Like, there's, again, I can't find a fucking picture. Okay, here we go. Sorry for my language, but I'm getting frustrated. Like, look at the interior, dude. Like, there's really nothing special at all. Like, it's really bland. There's nothing to look at. Like, nothing at all, dude. Like, again, there's a reason why they're getting a new stadium. Like, there's a reason why they're building a new one. It's because the stadium that they have right now, there's nothing to it. And I think Bills fans will agree with me on this once their new stadium is built. But for now, like, I really hope you guys don't, like, take it too much to the heart. But there's a reason why you guys are getting a new stadium, because the one you guys have right now is really bad. Up next, we've got Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this is the second stadium that I have been to in person. I have been to a game, and I think it's one of the nicest stadiums in the league. Like, it's a really nice stadium for it being completely open roof. There's a lot of reasons too. For one, I think the exterior is really impressive. I think it's really gorgeous, and I think the atmosphere there is really nice. Like, I went to their tailgating, and I gotta say, I was very impressed. Two, I think the interior is very impressive. I think it looks very nice. I mean, you might try to argue like there's really nothing to look at, but at the same time, like, you might be a little right, but at the same time, there are a lot of great features to the stadium that makes it special, and this is the big one right here. They have a damn pirate ship, dude. Look at what they have to, like, sell food. It looks like a Pirates of the Caribbean scene. Like, it looks amazing. Like, look at the pirate ship they got here. Like, it's so awesome to look at. And whenever the Bucks score touchdowns, like, it shoots cannons, like, basically smoke cannons. It looks so cool, dude. It's one of the nicest stadiums in the league, and I am so glad I went to the stadium because, man, is it impressive. Next, we've got SoFi Stadium, home of the LA Rams and the LA Chargers, and, like, come on, bro. You can't tell me this stadium is not elite when you look at it. Like, it's gorgeous. Like, come on, bro. Like, look at that exterior. It's absolutely stunning. Like, it's one of the nicest exteriors in the league. Like, there's really nothing that you can compare with this one. It's gorgeous. And then when you go to the interior, like, either it's Rams or Chargers. I will show both because, again, I don't want to get in trouble from any other fan base. But, yeah, dude, like, this is gorgeous. It has so much seating. Like, it has arguably the most seating at any NFL stadium. And, like, it's basically a stadium that was built to be, like a high-tech stadium. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. I can't find one that has, like, Chargers, like, around it. I can only see Rams. That's basically, like, my biggest issue is because I think it's cool that the Chargers are in LA, but at the same time, I kind of wish they were still in San Diego because I don't think the Rams and Chargers should be sharing the same stadium, but that's just me. Like, that's just my opinion. But, yeah, like, this stadium is gorgeous. Okay, here we go. Chargers, like, here you go. Like, there's Chargers background. Like, it's so nice. It's a really nice stadium. I actually have seen SoFi Stadium in person, and, yeah, dude, it's a huge stadium. It's really impressive. Up next, we've got Soldier Field, home of the Chicago Bears. Again, another really old stadium, but it's not like Lambeau Field where it's held up well. This one has not. There's a reason why they're about to get a new stadium in the future. Like, they have to give it up. Like, this stadium sucks, dude. I'm sorry. Like, look at the exterior. It's super boring. Like, the exterior is one of the worst at any NFL stadium. Like, I like the scenery with all the buildings, but, like, that's all it has. Like, there's nothing special at all. And then when you look at the interior, like, again, I like the city background. Like, I like the buildings in the background, but overall, like, there's nothing to it. Like, there's nothing to look at. Like, there's a reason why they're about to get a dome stadium. Like, there's, like, dude, it's terrible. And also, another problem with this stadium is it has such a bad leaking problem, especially with the fact that it rains a good amount in Chicago. Like, there's so much flood in this stadium. Like, it's terrible. Up next, we've got Caesars Superdome, home of the New Orleans Saints, and the last of the stadiums I've been to in person. And the only reason this stadium is not going to be in best of the best is because of the exterior. Even though I desperately want to put it in the best of the best, like, I got to be honest with myself, it's a damn good stadium, but it's not, like, as good as these five up here. The only reason this stadium is not in the elite category is because of its exterior. I mean, I know it's really big, but come on, dude, it kind of looks like a circus tent. Like, I have to be honest, like this, like the how it's built might look pretty impressive, but come on, when you look at that, you're not gonna think that's a football stadium. You're gonna think that's some kind of weird tent. Like, it's really weird. But when you look at the interior, like, come on, dude, you can't tell me that's not gorgeous. Like, there's a reason why this stadium has hosted as much Super Bowls as it has. There's a reason why the latest Super Bowl we just watched was in New Orleans. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, and especially sitting there, like, it has one of the best atmospheres in the league, but that's just me being biased because I'm a Saints fan. But, like, when you go to the stadium, like, dude, it's so nice. And another thing I gotta mention, like, this is also a really, like, interesting and unique part of the stadium is when you go to the gate to get in, like, there's no gate, like, to get in the actual stadium yet. Like, you have to wait for the gates to get open. But there's this huge party area where people are, like, taking pictures. Like, there's food you can get early. Like, and it's basically across, like, a bridge away from the New Orleans Pelicans Stadium. That's why they share so much space. But it just makes it so much, like, so unique. Like, it fits well with the theme. But, again, the only reason why the stadium's not an elite is because of the exterior. But overall, it's a gorgeous stadium. Up next, we've got Everbank Stadium, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm sorry, if I'm going to put Soldier Field down here, I have to put Everbank Stadium down here too. Like, it's another dump. Just like I said about the Bills Stadium and the Bears Stadium, like, there's a reason why they're planning on getting new stadiums. Like, look at this stadium. It's a dump. Like, look at the interior. Nothing special about it at all. The only thing that's unique about the stadium is that it has a pool. Like, I'll try to show you it when I find a picture, but it has a pool. But even that itself is not really special. And then when you look at the exterior, like, I'm trying to find a picture here of the exterior. Like, right here. Like, again, nothing special at all. Like, when you look at the seating, I think that looks pretty nice. But overall, nothing to look at all. I mean, okay, here we go. Here's a picture of the pool. Like, that itself is pretty cool. But overall, like, nothing to write home about. I actually didn't see pictures of what they were trying to build with the Jaguars' new state. Okay, alright, that basically is a copy of SoFi Stadium and Allegiant Stadium having a baby. I think it'll look nice, but come on, dude. They're really trying to copy other people's stadiums here. Up next, we've got State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals, and out of all the domes in the league, this one's probably the most bland one. When you look at the exterior, I mean, it's fine. It reminds me a lot of Caesars Superdome, but except I think this one looks a tiny bit better. But it is like the Patriots Stadium where it's basically in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's not even in the main part of Arizona. Like, come on, bro. And then when you got the interior, like, it's fine. Like, there's nothing special about it. Like, it looks decent for what it is. And finally, we've got the last stadium on the list, US Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings. And we're ending this off strong. This is one of the best stadiums in the league. First off, look at the exterior. It's honestly really impressive. It's one of the nicest exteriors in the league. Like, honestly, no other exterior can really, like, basically compete other than SoFi. And then when you look at the interior, like, also, that's also really impressive. Like, look at the seating. Gorgeous. The lighting looks really good. I like the city background right there. Overall, this is one of the most gorgeous stadiums in the league. Alright, before we end this tier list, I think this one needs a lot of adjustments, just like the other tier list I made, but this one a lot more. First off, I think I'm going to conjoin two of these tiers because I think they're too similar and I think they both deserve to be on the same tier. That looks pretty good. I think this one I think doing it like this makes it look a lot more clean, like okay / mid / boring / bland. I mean, that's a lot to read, but I think it just fits better. And alright, so more, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put Ford Field down here, I'm sorry, like, it's the best out of all these stadiums in here, but I just don't think it's the same level as these guys, up here, but I could totally see you guys disagreeing with me on this one. That's just my that's just my opinion. And then, yeah, I think overall, this is a pretty decent tier list. I could see you guys totally disagreeing with some of these takes, but let me know down below in the comments on what your favorite NFL stadium is, and let me know what you would do differently with tier list. I would love to know. But there you guys have it. That was me giving you guys my NFL stadium tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video enough. I know there's a lot of points that you might not agree with me on this one, but let me know down below on what your tier list would look like. I would like to know. I'll try to get a video out to you guys tomorrow, but again, I gotta take care of my mom. Like, family comes first, but hopefully I'll be here tomorrow to make another video. In the meantime, that is where we're going to be done for the day. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos whenever I post. I'm Logan Sharon. I'll see you next time.